Hey there, welcome back, Spiffers. It's great to see you again. This is Jamie Woodhouse from SaaS Educators with your 5-minute Salesforce Spiff Tip of the Week. Hope everyone had an amazing Thanksgiving. I know that I had a real fun Thanksgiving. It was great taking a few days off and being with families and friends, and I probably gained about 10 pounds eating way too much food. So back to the grind this week, working out, trying to work off those pounds, and back with Spiff to learn and grow in my knowledge of Spiff. So hopefully you guys are excited to jump back in it with me. As I was thinking about what we could talk about today, I was thinking about effective dating. Now, let's go over a scenario that may or may not happen in your environment, but I want to talk through how to handle it if you ever do run into this in your environment. So let's say that we have this scenario. Let's say that we have a sales rep that is leaving the company as of October 20th, and we don't want them to receive any commissions past that point. But we do want their manager to receive credit for all sales that may close from that rep by November 30th. So we give about 45 days, a little bit past a month, so that if there are some things that trickle in and close even after the rep leaves, the manager still gets credit and gets commissions for the things that his team closed if we have plans and payout rules that do that. We want that to be a little bit longer. So we give them a little bit of leeway to have things trickle in after people leave the company or leave their team. How do we even handle that in Spiff? I'm glad you asked that. Let's go ahead and kind of talk through the details of how that works and how we use effective dating in Spiff to be able to manage that process. Now, there's two different areas that will be impacted. And when we are doing effective dates to be able to accomplish this, we have ways of effective dating sales reps onto things and off of things. And there's two areas that we kind of separate out for different purposes. The first thing is on a team. Sometimes when you're first getting started with Spiff, you think, oh, when somebody joins a team, I add them to the team, and that makes sense. But when they're done with the team, I just delete them off of the team. Don't ever delete people off of teams unless it was a mistake and you just accidentally put them on the wrong team, and you need to fix that mistake. If anybody was actively on a team, we use effective dates to roll them off of the team. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. The second thing that we do is we use effective dates within plans to be able to roll the sales rep on a plan and off of a plan. Whenever we move people between plans, between teams, we always, you should always be using effective dating to be able to accomplish that. You should never be deleting people off of teams or off of plans. You should always just effective date them off. And I'll show you that here in just a second. But let's talk about the differences between the two. First, let's start and let's talk about plans. And let's jump into that. I want to look at that from the plans perspective first. So I have an individual, Ava Sassna. If I go to plans, I know that she's on a Spiff training plan. There's a lot of different ways that you can effective date people on and off teams and on and off plans. I'm just going to show you this straightforward way here. A lot of people like going to admin and users because they can do it in bulk. With team assignments and plan assignments to be able to, effective date people on and off teams and plans. I'll probably go over that in a future video because mass data management is really meant to be done in bulk. But I would say probably, 85, 90% whenever people are doing effective dating, they just like doing it here because you can see everybody on one screen. So know that it's the same thing, that you can do it this way. I'm just going to show it in teams and plans because it's a little easier to follow. You can do it in Designer as well. So there's a lot of different places where you can do effective dating. But to keep it simple, I'm just going to go ahead and go to plans here at the top. And I know that Ava Sasna is on the Spiff training plan. When I click on the Spiff training plan, this is going to give me all of the reps that are assigned here, and I have them effective dated on, and then I effective date them off. The way that effective dating works with plans, this is only for the rep. Think about this from who gets paid. Based off of how I work with plans, this is when commissions are going to get paid to individuals. So Ava Sasna and Chloe Gardner are the only two individuals that will get commissions from the payout rules that I've created on this Spiff training plan. And these are the dates when it was effective, when they could actually see that. A question I get a lot of times is, well, what if somebody rolls off of a plan and then comes back onto a plan maybe a year later that they were on previously? Have multiple lines. You can have multiple lines to where they have been on their first stint and then they have a second line for their second stint. That's how it should work. That's totally fine to be able to do that. But notice for Ava, I already entered it in here, but if I click on edit, I can go ahead and just put in the effective until date. And it brings up a calendar that I can go ahead and select that. But in that scenario, if you remember, going back to my scenario, we have October 20th is when Ava is leaving the company. So I go to the effective until in their plans. I choose October 20th. Now, what does that do? What that does is that'll affect what deals they get commissions paid on here. Now, there is one key thing that isn't very intuitive that you want to be very careful of. Now, I'm always careful when I talk about this thing. I want to get everyone's attention, but more than likely, you probably have programming in your system that handles this. By default, Spiff, when you are building out your plans with your payout rules in Designer, when it sees an effective date, it will only look at that effective date in the month. We build, or honestly, actually, whatever your period is for your statement periods. So when we build statements is when we look at these effective dates. And if you have an effective date on October 20th, it's just going to look at the month of October and say, oh, they're effective on this plan until October. So bring in all of the opportunities that closed in the month of October and we'll pay for everything, even things that were closed after October 20th. And I'll show you this example here in just a second in my test environment. Unless you have coding within your logic that is specifically calling out effective dates and filtering it down so that it will only look and include deals or opportunities that were closed during your effective date windows. I would say that pretty much 100%, I know I can't say 100% because there's always the exceptions, but when I was working at Spiff, 100% of our implementers would implement effective dating logic into each of the plans and payout rules so that it would look at the date and it will only include opportunities to pay commissions on until October 20th. But by default, Spiff does not do that. So just make sure you have effective dating logic in your system. That's very complex. I'm not going to go into details. Maybe at a future time, if I can find a quick 5-10 minute way to explain how to do that effective dating logic, I'll make a video for it. But just know by default, Spiff only goes by month. It sees, oh, they're effective until October. I'm going to create an October statement. Again, if my statement periods are monthly, if that's, again, most common, sometimes you might have statement periods that capture every 2 weeks or quarterly. If this effective date is in the period, it's going to include everything in that period. So just be careful of that. And I'm going to use the monthly example. All right. So, but with the effective date, I want to go ahead and effective date her off that. That means that that Ava will only be getting a commissionable statement that she can view and that her managers can view through the month of October. That's basically what that does with the commissions. And so if you look, now that I've got that in there, if I go back to her commission statement, notice how in December and November, she does not have a commission statement, but in October, Ava does. And if I click in here, this is where I can show you the example. Under this accelerator commission, I have got 12 opportunities that she is getting commission for. If I sort this ascending, just please note that I don't have that effective date logic in my system. I just have the default Spiff environment. It's going to bring everything in October. So just be careful of that. Make sure if you don't want to include everything closed in October for that individual, you just want it to the day until they left the company. Make sure you get you have effective dating logic in your system. And you can work with any of the Spiff partners that do implementation, and they will know exactly what you're doing and how to do that and verify if you have that in your system. All right. So that gives us access to be able to give Ava a commission and cut her a commission check and have her have access to her statement through the month of October. So that is what the plan, if we go back to our slide deck, that is what the plan effective dating is used for. It's just for the sales rep and if they're going to get commission statement created or not. That's the only thing that effective date impacts. Teams, I have a link at the bottom that talks about of a video that I did a little while ago of what the purpose of teams are in Spiff. I highly recommend watching that if you haven't seen that before, to basically talk in more detail of the purpose of teams. The purpose of teams has nothing to do with paying commissions out to an individual sales rep. The purpose of teams only has two main purposes in Spiff. Roll-ups to managers, so that if you have roll-up commission plans, that the managers can have the individuals included in their roll-ups for their team, as well as visibility. So the only two purposes of why we have teams within Spiff. Visibility into their statements. So in the example that I had, or the example that I have here with Ava Sasna, if I go to her team, I notice that she is on this AE training team. And Elise Tucker is her manager. Now notice that I've got the effective dating till November 30th. This is that part of this scenario that I was talking about, where they're going to receive commissions for October, but we want to go all the way till the end of November to allow their manager to receive credit, just in case it takes a little while for some items to close. This will allow Elise to be able to receive credit or commissions through her roll-up commission plans of any of Ava's deals, even if it closes in the month of November. And so it's okay to be able to have a separate effective date for the team as you would for the plan. And that's the main reason, is that you want it to be included in roll-ups, even though it is not the individual sales rep no longer is going to receive a commission for that. Is through that scenario. And you can do that through the effective until for Ava Sasna in the team, but under the plan to be able to have it be the actual date that that Ava stopped working at the company. And that's how that will affect. I wish I had a roll-up statement that I could show you for Elise. I don't have any plans or anything or payout rules created for managers, so I can't show you that, but you can just kind of imagine that in October, Ava would have her deals getting paid commissions directly to her because she's got a statement. And that would also be included in a lease. But if we move to November, Ava no longer has a statement, meaning that we will no longer be paying her commissions. But for Elise, her manager, all of her deals that could have closed in November would stay and keep included in that. So Elise can still get credit for any of those items that were close to closing, but were closed without Ava being the one who actually closed those out. All right. Well, hopefully that was helpful. As I go through this, I'm like, that might have been a little confusing, but hopefully you can rewatch this and kind of just understand the difference between, again, why effective dating is used within Spiff and the separate reasons why we have effective dating in teams, which is for the manager's visibility and for their roll-ups, their commissions, the managers, is the whole purpose of teams, where plans are for the individual reps. And effective dating in the plans will only affect the commissions for the actual sales reps that you have there. Hope that was helpful. Hope everybody enjoyed the 5-minute tip of the week. Please come and join me. Forgot to put my stuff on Do Not Disturb. Sorry about that. Please join me at a seminar. I come all across the country. Go to saaseducators.com. There is a link in the description of this video. Click on my website, check out where I'm coming to a city near you. I would love to see you in person. I've got a 3-day boot camp seminar that goes into a lot more detail, into a lot more things. You also get a hands-on environment that's a playground kind of test environment that is not your production environment that you can mess around with and play around and learn the Spiff system in a good hands-on way. So come join me at a city near you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We will see you next week.